Magic.
Hello everybody, and welcome back to the new Old Furry Podcast. I'm Kitthesoulless, and as always we have Rick here. And today Rick's got an interesting topic for us. Well, what would that topic be, Rick?
Well, you see, Kit, a long time ago, there was a man who banged two rocks together and made fire. And that was the first time new technology came into the world. And that was the first mistake.
The first mistake. By the way, I love the fact that we just did this like two fucking radio hosts. Kind of what we are at this point, though.
What do you think a podcast is, man?
We just don't have any Bon Jovi to put in the background.
We get licensed, right?
I mean, we could try. Bon Jovi probably doesn't cost too terribly much nowadays.
It's hard to say. I don't know. Depending on which song.
Oh, and by the way, I should also point out, just for shits and giggles, just for the sake of safety, if you are of a younger audience, do remember, these aren't made for you, these aren't meant for you, so if you're watching, it is your own fucking fault.
What he said. Go away.
Telegram, 5 minutes and the audio started.
Hey, you said we'd have to remember.
God damn it, now I've just got a notification permanently up. So, we're talking about technology, yes?
I would like to point out, technology, the wonderful thing that is allowing us to do this podcast, is also the worst thing in the world.
Well, yeah, it's kind of the worst thing that ever happened to humanity because it let us kill each other so much easier.
You know, you're not wrong. But at the same time, I can now watch kitten videos whenever I want.
I mean...
Is it a push?
I mean, genocide on one hand, cat videos on the other. I think it balances out just a little bit. Not really, but still.
It's close to a balancing point.
I mean...
But, I mean...
Not really. Maybe mentally, but...
Well...
Get tired of hearing about genocide, go watch a cat video. That's how it balances out!
You're not wrong. That's...
Oh...
That's terrible.
Isn't it though? But the problem is, it's so true.
Oh, God. Okay, humanity was a mistake. We need to start over from the beginning, wipe it out. Just first animal that crawled up onto land and started developing lungs, just show up back then with a baseball bat and beat it back into the ocean.
I thought you were gonna go to the reject human, become monkey.
It takes too long to grow a tail, and then you have to find specially made pants. It's a whole thing.
Specially made pants?
You need the hole for the tail.
You wouldn't just rip a hole in your ass.
I'm just going to let that hang there for a second. Did you all see how easily he just went for that?
What? I've thought about what it would be like to have a tail. Right beneath the fucking waistband, right above the seat of the pants, just rip a hole. Okay,
Kit, you've done some work with fabrics and the like throughout the years, I know, because we've had conversations about it. You know when your favorite sweater has that loose thread?
Yes.
What happens when you keep pulling that thread?
Eventually either the thread breaks or something winds up with a run.
What do you think happens in your pants when you just rip a hole? And all those loose threads just dangle.
Well, it depends on what the pants are made of. If it's something like denim, nothing.
Depending on where you rip the denim, you're not wrong.
I have exactly. A lot of... Right beneath the waistline, right above the seat of the pants. If you rip there in denim jeans, nothing's going to happen. It will stay an open hole, and it won't get any better or any worse unless you sit there and tug on it.
I had a lot of pairs of jeans, denim jeans, with worn-out knees that would love to have a word with you.
Well, that's because it's the knee. It's a very often moved part of the body. I mean, shit, have you ever seen the the design concept for anthropomorphic pants or for fursuit pants? Specifically ones that are supposed to let the tail go through the pants? It's literally the waistband is split in half right up the back, and it's got buttons placed on it, so it creates a hole right where I'm talking about, where you then fold the waistline of the pants and button it together right above the tail.
And at this point, I'd like to bring up some people who are far more successful than either of us. And they brought up the issue a long time ago. You know, in a world with live furries, they all have that kind of, they have something to get the pants to work with the tail. And at some point, someone's going to have the runs. And that extra 2 seconds to get that button off is going to be too much.
It's gonna be too much, yeah.
Anyway, we were talking about technology.
I mean, this kind of is a form of technology. It's a new form of clothing. Or a new method of clothing yourself that would support having a thing coming out of your spine or your butthole.
I'd like to point out, first and foremost, the new tail on anybody would be probably, arguably, a new form of technology.
True. Then again, Japan apparently was developing a feline-like cybernetic tail that could be essentially connected to your spine that's used to... It looks almost like a cross between a cat and an otter tail. And it's designed to give people superior balance. It's rigged into their nervous system or into their... it's rigged into their nervous. You'd have to be trained to use it, but it essentially balances you out when you're doing things like tightrope walking.
Did these people not watch Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2? Do you want Dr.
No.
Octopus? Because this is how you get Dr. Octopus.
I'm aware, but still. Could you imagine how useful that would be for people that do jobs like construction? About to slip and fall. Fuck having that. Just tail suddenly whips to one side and pulls you back over.
The problem is it's still down to the individual, and I have a strong belief that it is easier to train individuals to... It's not tightrope walking. You're talking walking steel, a couple of stories in the air. I have a couple friends who have done this as a job. It's not tightrope walking. You just have to put one foot in front of the other, and you don't fall over.
Yeah.
And that's great. And now you want them all to learn how to control a tail.
Well, no, I'm not saying I want this for that reason. I'd want this because I'm a furry and I think having the ability to have a semi-prehensile tail would be fucking amazing. But the original reason why they're developing it is for, like, construction workers.
It's
weird,
there's
I know.
better ways to do it.
I'm aware.
The argument is, it's better for construction workers. First and foremost, you and I are not going to see that in our lifetime.
Oh, hell no.
Period.
Well,
because
aside from the prototypes, but the prototypes apparently only work to a certain degree.
I'm a mechanic, and there was the quote-unquote real-life Iron Man suit. Yeah, it's a exoskeleton suit that straps on more or less like coveralls, but it has actuators in the joints to lessen the impact on the joints as you stand up, kneel, move around. I'm still waiting on that to be commercially available, not provided by an employer, commercially available, because I would buy that. Mostly because I would look how to pimp it out and become Iron Man.
God damn it. Pimp my Iron Man suit.
Hey, don't shit on my dreams. One day it could happen.
At the rate our world is going technologically, probably when we're about 70. Which at that point you would kind of need it more for walking around.
At that point, I'm probably going to be a brain in a jar. Maybe a single eyeball floating.
I mean, brain in a jar at very least, if we have, if we wind up in the situation of, like, Fallout brain in a jar, I mean, at very least we would be able to talk. We could do this for the rest of eternity. Or rather, for the rest of the 20,000 years it states in the games that the brains can exist in the jars before they start to
I'd like to point out they didn't make it that long before they started to degrade.
No, usually only about 200 years.
Mostly because one of them was addicted to chemicals to make his brain stronger, and the other 4 let him mess with their brains.
Yeah, a little bit. Anyways. Sorry about that, folks. I had a cough.
So, sticking with the technology theme here, going back to the tail and the apparently we are now training construction workers how to be furry.
I mean, they
Anyone,
can always just outsource the work to furries.
you know, it would honestly probably make any construction site just
That much funnier.
yeah.
Then again, you would
'Cause
also have to worry about the people that take a smoke break and smoke something completely different. Never employ a circus seal. Let's just put it that way.
Not even gonna ask about that. But unless they are going to fire their entire crew and then hire on furries to walk around with tails, you're going to need someone to train these people, and anyone who has a single elderly relative, or it doesn't even have to be an elderly relative. That is a stereotype. There's a reason it's a stereotype. It's because it's true. But it is a stereotype that it is always the elderly relative who doesn't know how technology works.
A little bit.
No. No, I have met so many technologically illiterate people who are younger than me, and it hurts to try and teach them how to work a computer.
Oh god, yeah. No, it's more of a you have to have kind of grown up with it for it to actually be, I don't know, in the repertoire of things you can do, because there are people that will grow up being completely fucking computer illiterate. And is it bad that I find that a lot of the people that are that way tend to be happier?
Well, there's reasons for that.
Twitter.
If they're computer illiterate, they can't get onto social media, Twitter being one of them, but not the only by a long shot.
Facebook.
We could go all the way back, man.
MySpace.
Let's see. I remember when MySpace came out, and I didn't have it the first year it was out. The next year, I met up with another group of friends, and I was like, all right, I got a MySpace account now, and I'm going to go, and I'm going to start connecting to people. They had all switched over to Facebook in a year.
Hey,
and none of them wanted my...
I've got one for you, though. That is gonna make you feel... will probably make you feel young and me feel old as shit. Usenet.
That was before my time.
It was before your time. It was actually slightly before MySpace.
I'm aware.
Slightly before being almost like 8 years.
What was the standard attack in there? Was it trout slapping? Carp slapping?
Trout slap.
Trout slap. Yeah, that's the one.
Just trout slap!
I know it exists. I know what it is. I wasn't there for it. This is back in the days when you got the AOL disc and it had 90 minutes of internet time.
Bitch, Usenet was before AOL. I'm sorry. No. This was back when you got your internet from the phone company.
It's literally the same time frame.
Yes and no.
It's the same time frame. We're talking dial-up days, which is why you had to go through the phone company for it.
Yes, but AOL was the premium dial-up.
Yes, it
was. Which, hearing those words, will make everybody who remembers that era go and cringe until their face turns inside out. Because AOL was even fucking horrible. It was overpriced trash.
It was the greatest thing at the time.
Yes, it was. At the time. But that was at the time.
I remember having... I was the fancy kid. I was the fanciest kid in my school.
Why? Because your parents had AOL?
No. My parents had 2 phone lines. One specifically for the internet.
Yep.
What was really annoying was still getting kicked off when someone called and it was always a fucking robocaller.
No, you know it was really fucking hilarious? When we had the internet in my house, when I was a little kid, my brothers would go on the internet, surf the internet on the family fucking computer. Okay, so my parents were never home. My brothers would fucking lock me in my room, so one of them could go downstairs, look up porn on the internet, and jerk off in the kitchen on the family computer. And I remember being that dick that when I found out I could get into my dad's room, pick up the phone, blow into it, and then listen like 3 seconds later to hear my brother go, "Motherfucker, it took 20 minutes for this shit to load!"
Oh.
Because, guys, back in the day, it didn't leave it loaded.
No.
If you got kicked off the
was...
internet by a booting, and that's what that was called, was booting. If you got yourself booted, it fucking essentially brought you to a connection not found page, and everything you were doing was gone.
All right, modern day equivalency. You've tried to log on to the internet when there's no internet available, and you get that 404 error page.
Oh no, it's not the 404.
That's a bad gateway, isn't it?
404 gateway not found. It
Yeah.
would be a basic no internet connection.
Google
Zero
was
internet
kind
connection.
and added in a game to that web page.
No, Google didn't. Mozilla did.
Was it Mozilla?
Mozilla
Yeah,
Firefox. It was the Mozilla.
Yep.
It was the Mozilla Tyrannosaurus.
You're right.
It was essentially their equivalent of Flappy Bird.
Kids still know about that, right? I'm
God,
not
I
that
hope so.
old and out of the loop, right?
I mean, this was back when PewDiePie was doing video games, so we were like 3. I'm joking, by the way.
You can feel my glare from.
What?
I remember before YouTube was a thing.
Bitch!
I
So
remember
do I.
when it was
I
a
remember
joke at
when
school.
YouTube was a fucking... Yeah, a joke at school. It was strictly for anime fucking music videos, AMVs, or watching people light firecrackers off in their butt cheeks.
Or, oh, this one will get you. Salad fingers.
Oh, god damn it.
Or was that Newgrounds? That might have been Newgrounds.
No, Salad Fingers is YouTube.
All
Salad
right.
Fingers was YouTube. I have discovered a lot of nettle. Would you like to try some? God damn it.
The internet used to be a weird place. The
internet
things that
used
you
to be a
think have
weird
always
place.
been and always shall be, once upon a time, they were not.
God, what you guys think of as the dark side of YouTube, like the I Feel Fantastic robot, that was original. That was originally what YouTube was, guys. There was a time when the dark side of YouTube was the only part of YouTube that existed.
I remember when it was a joke at school that if you could do anything when you grow up for a job, what would you do? I'd play video games all day. Yeah, that didn't used to be an option.
And now I'm living the dream. Trust me, not as
Yeah,
much of a dream as you think.
Watch those analytics and pray someone shouts you out.
No. Quite literally, like I said earlier, I've essentially taken the Rockstar approach. Any publicity is good publicity.
Well, that's drifting dangerously close to topics I choose not to engage in.
Yeah, no. Simply put, it's one of those, making it on YouTube is not really a viable thing. It never really was. There are, for every one Markiplier or Jacksepticeye or PewDiePie, there are literal millions of people who never breach 100 subscribers.
Well, that was I think Markiplier and Jacksepticeye both have gone on record and said the only reason they suddenly became big was because PewDiePie called them out on stream at one point.
Actually, it wasn't on stream. PewDiePie did a shout out to Jacksepticeye when Jack had 8,000 subscribers. And he jumped from, I think it was 8,000 to like 80,000 in a week.
I recently watched an interview with Jacksepticeye, and Markiplier has said much the same of the only reason this worked out for me is because I made it work. I kept doing it. I didn't stop. And they've both said, people always ask us, how'd you get started in it? I worked my ass off.
And that's actually that is very much a thing. You have to work your ass off to do this kind of job.
And as you said, for every successful YouTube channel, there's millions millions
Yep.
that never get over 100. That never get over 100 views, let alone subscribers.
Yep. I mean, shit, I'm at 1,330 as of today, and I still barely managed to get above 100 views per video. So, that's a thing.
Well, you're living the dream, man.
Oh, that's
Not
the
all
other...
dreams are good.
That's another thing that people don't realize is people who get thousands of views with only a couple hundred subs, you're fucking lucky. But usually it's because you're riding a trend. I know I've got one person that I talked to, Volk, who wound up managing to ride the meme trend up to 3,000. And it's a really good thing. It helps you. Riding a trend will help you get noticed. But then he had the problem of, well, I'm suddenly not getting as many views because meme trend died off a little bit. And then it was, well, you wrote a trend. Now find what you enjoy doing. Enjoy memes, keep up with it. It'll become a trend again. If you want to try other stuff, try other stuff. You've got the people watching you. See what they like and what you like doing.
You've legitimately built an audience, and
Yep.
the audience is there because of a trend. It doesn't matter why the audience is there. The audience is there.
Yep.
Figure out what you... Oh, this is going to be great. I could literally hop over and talk to Volk right now, but you know what? He could listen to this in a couple weeks when it comes out. It'll be great.
Oh, man. I'm sorry, give me just a second. I'm gonna tap over and I'm gonna hug Volk really quick. So, yeah, this would definitely be perfect for the technology part of the rant. I think what I'm going to do is put up this graphic that's just runtime error or something, or maybe even just the 404 fuck you not found. By the way, hey guys, hate to point this out, but our recording software decided it was gonna stop recording. So this is kind of what we mean by technology.
That was...
By the way, yes, we're recording.
For you guys, no time has passed.
For us, it's been about a half an hour.
It has been a half hour of talking.
Yep.
Oh God, this hurts. That's painful, man.
Isn't it though?
Fuck
Because holy
technology.
balls. Oh.
For those of you at home, if you decide to start running OBS, download the updates up until it starts working, then never update it again.
Well, that's the downside. That's what I did, and that's what this is causing this to happen.
You know, personally, I'm going to go with, you did admit that you were tabbing over to go hug Volk. I'm going to blame Volk for this one. It's all his fault.
By the way, I'm going to let you go on a solo right now really quick. I'm going to go get a drink because we're adding essentially a half hour to this runtime. I need to wet my whistle because I'm getting dry.
Oh, God. Oh, wonderful. They can hear me. Well, then, let's see. Technology is the worst thing ever because as soon as you think something's working, one of two things happens. It either stops working and is no longer supported by the manufacturer, so you then have to buy the new one, or the new one comes out, and they start releasing bloatware as the updates for the old version, specifically to make it so you have to buy the new one. As soon as something works, it doesn't. Why? Why does technology hate us so? The first human-like creature to bang two rocks together and accidentally make fire, I guarantee the first one that did it killed himself with the fire. The second one that did it burned down his house but survived. And I don't understand why we decided that the earliest technology we ever had was a good reason to continue with technology.
So I go off when he's talking about, well, technology was a mistake, and then come back to, and it burned down his house. I'm fairly certain I missed something, but still.
I'm talking about the first 3 humans who found it or discovered fire.
Oh my god.
The first one who did it probably died from the fire. The second
Probably,
one who
yeah. The
did it
other one
burned down his
probably
house.
burned down his house. Mostly because he was probably dragging the burning corpse of the other guy.
The third one that did it probably most likely decided to fight off a wolf with it, something good, because it's usually, first guy discovers something, second guy fucks with something, third guy figures out how to make something useful.
Yeah, pretty much. That's how it typically.
And nowadays we're so dependent on technology. Why are we so dependent on technology? Why are we so dependent on technology that doesn't work?
You think we're dependent on technology now? Uh, just wait until what's his name? Elon Musk, the Mr. Muskie Husky himself, uh, manages to make or get one of his cerebral implants working. Could you imagine how dependent would be if in a future where everyone has a cerebral implant?
I'd like to point something out about that. It doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense why we should go in that route. And I'll tell you why. Because something around, and this is in America only, something around 90 to 95% of the populace has the entirety of the internet in their pocket.
Yeah.
So this one goes out to everyone who's saying that the COVID-19 vaccine is all a big ploy to get people to consent to getting a microchip injected into their arm.
You already have the microchip in your pants, bitch.
You carry it around willingly. People have turned around, gone back home because they forgot their chip at home. Why a cerebral implant? I kind of understood the augmented reality idea of the Google Glass, even though that's not what it
Well, no, no,
was.
no, no. The cerebral implant is not for the internet. In fact, it was meant for people with things like diabetes or for psychological or rather neurological issues. Good example. There's I can't remember the name of it, but there's this one disability that causes your body to shake a lot. Parkinson's?
Parkinson's?
Yeah, they've been coming up with new things like there is a system that you can essentially it's a chip that's embedded in I think your spine. That when you turn on a receiver that goes to it, it disrupts the neural pathways that cause your body to shake, and you still shake a little, but nowhere near as much. They also now have spoons that have a special gyro in them that when powered, you can shake as much as you want. The spoon stays perfectly still.
What the fuck is this Matrix? There is no spoon bullshit.
The idea for it is medically. The cerebral implant was designed to essentially monitor your health, not be like a cell phone. But my point is, could you imagine how dependent we would be on technology if, like, a couple decades down the line, our medical systems essentially worked around just the concept of if this person is not chipped, we cannot help them?
I, to be fair, in the world we live in, Kit, we already have that issue of if this person doesn't pay for insurance, we cannot help them.
I know.
Well, no, that's not exactly how it goes. Uh,
No, it's
this person
usually if
doesn't
this
have
person doesn't have
insurance.
insurance, we can't help them. The clinic down the road can send them there.
No, 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 because there is the it's incorrect to call it the Hippocratic Oath, but that is the colloquialism for the oath of do no harm.
Yeah.
They will still attempt to help. They
Yep.
will stabilize the patient if at all possible. The problem is because their clinic is not the free clinic down the road. They then send the bill to the guy who then has horrible stress and PTSD and probably some long-term illness that he has to continuously go to the free clinic and dear God, please let them give me insulin today. Uh he has to go through all of that on top of which he's now what was because if they put you in an ambulance, it is an automatic 10 grand bill no matter how far they're taking you.
3 grand.
Is it only 3?
It's only $3,000. I know because I've had that bill before.
I've had it several times from several different locations.
But you have medical.
Yeah, and that's another thing. If you have medical, they fluff up the costs.
Yep. Even with my medical, my shitty ass medical, the insulin injections I was receiving twice a day, when I found out I was diabetic, they were charging like fucking $1,000 for 10 milligrams of insulin.
Probably milliliters, but okay.
Milliliters, yeah. Well, whatever the fuck a unit is, because 10 units was $1,000.
Is that... See, now you've set me off, and I don't have a bottle of insulin to check against readily at hand.
Give me a second, I can see if I've got a syringe around here. By the way, mild disclaimer, both me and Rick here are diabetic. He's type 1, I'm type 2.
Yeah, so one of these days it's going to happen. I'm going to go off on a rant about the medical healthcare system of the U.S. and how it is complete and total bullshit designed to make me suffer, I'm fairly certain.
It'll make anybody with a disability suffer.
Yeah, anybody who needs long-term care.
But then again, I can say that there is one good thing about the medical, I want to call it the medical industrial complex.
That's what it is. That people these days know it as big pharma.
Yeah, no. But the thing is, if you don't have great insurance, they give you these, which you guys can't see it. I'm holding up my prescription for hydrocodone, which is a really, really lovely painkiller. That they essentially tell you, here you go, have this, we can't help you, go die.
You have just gone so much further into explaining the opioid epidemic in the U.S.
I'm well aware! But it's kind of true. I had an issue about a month ago now where I needed to get my tooth removed because my tooth had cracked open. It was massively infected. And I was on and off having symptoms like high fever, I was becoming delusional, I was getting dizzy, I was having random numbness throughout certain parts of my head and neck, I had a constant shooting pain in my neck, and no one did anything until my tooth literally split into 3 pieces, and then they had to remove it. What they had been giving me for the pain of an infection that the dentist, I had to pay out of pocket, by the way, because my medical wasn't going to cover it because apparently it wasn't life-threatening. The dentist I went to and paid to remove the tooth told me flat out that if I had left the tooth the way it was for much longer, I was likely gonna be dead. They gave me not 1, not 2, but 3 high-yield fucking antibiotics, one of them being a full-spectrum antibiotic, and told me, take every single one of these until they are gone. You're going to feel like shit.
That means the antibiotic is working.
Yeah, pretty much. Apparently, I had an infection that, if it had spread even slightly more than it had, I would have been suffering from sepsis of the blood, and more than likely, the infection could have gone through the tissue, through the blood-brain barrier, into my brain, and killed me. By the way, folks, that's one of the reasons why take care of your teeth. And if you ever get a tooth that's fucked up, go to the goddamn dentist. Don't fucking wait. Go.
And whatever you do, for your own peace of mind, don't look up the problems with using broad spectrum, sorry, that's the appropriate term, broad spectrum antibiotics, because it's terrifying to think about.
Oh, God, yeah. Broad-spectrum antibiotics can be everything from a couple minor infections that they just can't identify, to the ones that can flat-out kill you and they need to cover every single fucking possible effect that trying to cure you could throw and possibly become fatal on. It's terrifying.
Yeah.
Realistically, though, you really shouldn't be Googling your symptoms anyways.
Oh, that's very true. And this one goes out to all of my homies who are stuck in a broken medical industrial complex dystopia of a world where you have to choose
New
between
York.
groceries or medical supplies that day.
New York.
It's not just New York, dude.
No, it's not just New York, but right now New York exemplifies this fucking concept very, very
It,
well.
it exemplifies the fact that our system is broken.
Very much
Interesting.
so.
It's don't Google your symptoms.
Don't
If
Google
your
your
feet,
systems either.
yeah, well, that depends. If you're working on a, Super Mario Galaxy, whatever, you need to figure out how to do that system so that way you can move on to the next system.
Yeah, don't try Googling your political.
Oh God, that's just depressing.
Yeah.
But don't Google the symptoms. In my opinion, and it's strictly an opinion, this is not medical advice. I am not a licensed physician. I have only my own working knowledge of how things work. If it impedes your life in any meaningful way, go to a doctor.
Yeah, seriously. By the way, as for what my body, or what my time was like on those antibiotics, and this is going to be a really weird segue into our next little topic because I know it was one that wanted to be brought up, and we haven't quite gotten around to segueing into it. Vomit splatter patterns on the wall when I failed to reach the bathroom. Let's talk about art.
All right, Jackson Pollock, calm down. First and foremost,
Oh,
that is not art.
no.
Splashing paint onto a canvas is not art.
Some people would pay a couple $100,000 for it after the artist is dead, so it still
No,
qualifies as art to some idiots.
it's you are correct because we would have to start off with, defining what is art.
And therein lies a very huge problem because art cannot really be defined that well.
I disagree. I believe art can be defined. It is anything that one or more individuals have put time and effort into creating for the enjoyment of others. And you could probably even edit out the word others for enjoyment, whether it's the enjoyment of the artist or artists, or it's enjoyment of an audience of some kind. Art exists for enjoyment. That's all art is.
Do you know what's really sad?
What's that?
By that very loose definition, that one picture of a chick in a shower that was all over Rotten.com back in the early 2000s could be considered art.
I'm not saying all art is good.
Oh,
I'm not saying I enjoy all art. I'm not saying all art needs to be defended. There is some art that
oh.
you can go ahead and destroy it and you'll have lost nothing meaningful other than the problem with destroying art is then a lot of people like to make the slippery slope argument of, well, if we start limiting what people can put out there as art, then they can start limiting everything, and eventually we wind up with Fahrenheit 451.
Yeah, that is a possibility if we wind up with people that don't know what the fuck they're doing, I guess, or who just want way too much control.
It, yeah, because it's there's certain we're furries here. Let's be honest. 90% of art commissioned in the furry fandom is porn.
I'd say probably about 80%.
All right, we're arguing about 10%. That's fine. I'll give you
I mean,
10%.
I mean, half the world right now is arguing about 1%, so.
Every time I do one of these, I'm
Oh.
reminded of why I should never do one of these. I'll give you the 10% rule. That's fine.
Yeah.
I know that none of the art that yeah, none of the art I have ever commissioned has been porn. I had to verify that.
I think I've only ever had one porn, and I've got a few things commissioned.
Are you counting the art
I am not
you
counting the ones
gifted?
that Avia has been giving me or any of the gifts I've gotten. No. It's ones that I
Not the
specifically commissioned.
not the gifted to you. I'm talking about the ones you gifted away because I'm fairly certain you've shown me two, but we can discuss that at another time.
I only remember one. I
Well,
remember getting one for Avia.
there was Avia's Christmas present this last year.
Yeah.
I thought you had an older one.
No, that wasn't porn. It was seductive. It wasn't porn though.
And now we're going to get into the classic argument of porn versus art.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, fully clothed and doing a cute pose is, to me, not porn. I mean, I know it's porn to somebody, but to me, it's not porn.
Well, you're not wrong, but at the same time, a beautiful woman in a bra and panties.
Some people would say it's porn. I
Yeah,
personally wouldn't.
it's
Then again, I'm an old fuck, so
that is the jazz is like porn. I can't define it, but I know it when I see it.
But yeah, no. Anyways, where were we going with this porn thought?
Uh,
So 80 to 90% of all art done in the furry community
yeah,
is porn.
you threw me off.
I know.
So my thought train went careening into the canyon of forgotten things.
Now we
I'm
just need
sure,
to put it back up. Get the winch.
I'm sure if anyone is listening to this right now, they're yelling at the screen or phone. You idiot, you were just talking about this, making an excellent point about art.
Yes, it was. We were starting in on the 80 to 90% of all art in the furry community that is commissioned is porn.
It was because we
He
were
found the
talking
wench.
about we were talking about censorship.
Yeah.
Specifically, there are certain things that I feel, and this is my opinion, I'm not going to name what these things are. In my opinion, depictions of them in a physical medium, be it digital or actual classical physical medium, doesn't need to exist because it's a poor representation and doesn't really serve much of a purpose other than a very select group of people's enjoyment. Now, I do consider myself far more open minded than a large portion of the human race. So I'm willing to bet I'd be okay with some things that other people are not.
Well, then again, you've got people who are okay with things like gore porn, but
And that's one of those things that I feel is just what's the purpose of this? Who does this do anything for? And I just because I don't know anyone that I can name
I actually
doesn't
don't
mean
know
they don't
anybody
exist.
who's into that. But it is the old adage. It is very much as the old adage says. I'm not getting off to this, but I know somewhere in the world someone is.
And at that point, that's kind of where a perfect society will one day arise as soon as we track down that individual and kill him.
Oh, god damn it.
A perfect society is one murder away, people. Just remember that.
That is a horrifying thing to say, especially on YouTube.
God damn it.
Did you forget that's where these are going?
Oh, that's a fair point. That's
But
a
either
very
way,
fair
I
point.
mean, worse gets said in my comment section, so...
I would like to remind everyone that I do not in any way condone murder or violence to feel that you are getting to a perfect world. If you believe a perfect world is achievable through murder or violence, there is
Seek
something
help.
wrong with you. Go seek professional help from someone with a lot of letters after their name.
Yeah. Most of those letters you won't understand, but trust me, it means they know what they're doing, and they can help you.
Hopefully they can help you. Hopefully.
I mean, if they can't, they'll give you a nice apartment with just one room. It's gonna be fine. The walls are gonna be nice and fluffy, and it's gonna be okay. You'll be able to hit your head against them all day.
Ugh.
Don't get me wrong, those apartment complexes are nice. They have people watching you 24/7 to make sure you're okay. They give you all your food. They give you drugs every single day so you can just sit back and chill and be calm. That's the sigh I was waiting for.
See, and what's terrible is I'm the one who led this conversation into this direction.
Exactly.
I can't even be mad about this.
Oh,
You
see,
tricked me somehow.
you lead these into this kind of thing more often than you realize.
No, I'm quite well aware. I do not. I To all of you who have never spent time and spoken to me one on one, I'm sure there's, well, that depends if like 6 of you watching, so there's a good 1 in 6 chance that one of you hasn't spoken to me.
Dick. There are more than
Hey,
6 people that watch these.
as far
I
as
think
I'm
it's like
concerned,
8.
this is me shouting into the void.
I think it's like 8.
Oh, we're up to 8 now.
Yeah,
We're
I think
doing
so.
good. I figured 2 watchers per stream, up to 6.
Nah,
Most
no,
people have
no. We're
checked
gonna
out by now.
remember. There is a minor modifier because the first one is probably gonna already have 4.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
Yeah,
fair.
I mean, because think about it. I've got 1,330. Out of those, 4 of them have bound to have watched the first one, and then we're probably gonna gain about 2. So by now we probably have 8.
Oh, good for us. So anyway,
And the
for the
funniest part is gonna be most popular fucking thing on the channel.
well, I feel as though these conversations we have with each other, we have had in the Discord with other people present.
Oh god, yeah.
So anyway, for the one, maybe 2 of you who haven't actually spoken to me, I try to be a very peaceful, understanding, kind, caring person. Notice the try.
He's very much like me, everybody. He can be a dick.
Yeah, but unlike you, I try to be a good person.
Bitch, so
I'm
do
sorry, that
I.
that was mean-spirited and I didn't mean it.
Ah, well. Trust me, I know you didn't. Nomfist. And he is itching to say not allowed, I guarantee.
No, I've never had an issue with you saying nom face. What I say is, how dare you?
Oh, right. Which one was not allowed?
I'm not telling you because then you'll say it.
Nem. No, no.
That's always
No,
been your
no.
thing.
No, no. Omnom nose has been not allowed, I think.
That's not allowed. Anything dealing with the nose, really.
Ah, well. Where were we? I'm pulling an old man
We,
moment.
we were talking about how I inadvertently called for the eradication of
The one person,
the
just
one
the
person to get
one
to a
person
perfect
that will lead
society.
to a perfect society. Everybody thinks they know that one person too. That if they were gone, the world could be perfect. Trust me, you don't.
It's not that easy, guys. It really
It
isn't.
never
As I
really
said,
is.
if you believe that by killing one person or by driving off one person, driving out one person from our community will become better.
You got another
Uh,
thing coming
Well, it's not even
because
you. It's not even a you got another thing coming. It's a how petty are you about the community that it can be ruined by one person?
yeah. Well, no, that's the thing. Is realistically, even if it were possible to fix a community by driving out even a select number of people, eventually it comes down to the point of well, there's a movie that I really like that is called Priest, and the concept of it was to fight a scourge that humanity had seen. They created these super powered or super powerful or super well trained soldiers, and when the fighting was all done, and you'd think these people were heroes because they saved humanity, no, they became the ones that were shunned. They became the ones that were cast out because the world no longer needed them. If you believe that through violence you can fix a community, eventually you'll be the one that the community drives out.
All right, I'll go ahead and prove that I've read a book in my life, The Once and Future King. The moral at the end of that. If you're not familiar, it is the story of King Arthur by T.H. White. Little dry, little long. It's a good book, though. It has a lot of my favorite quotes in it. But one of them is that Arthur admitted he was mistaken, specifically because he believed he could use the might to fight for what was right, because he grew up in a time when the knights and the lords held all of the power.
Yep.
They determined what was right, and once he became king, drew the sword from the stone, yada yada yada. He decided that no, we need to fight to change people's minds, because I believe that, right should determine what is right, not the strength of your army, but what is truly right should be. The problem was he was dealing with the same lords and knights who held all the power before,
Yep.
who, when they had a conflict, let's go to war.
Yeah.
Not like they died.
Not like
It
they
actually
died. It
made
was
an
their
excellent
serfs that did.
Yep, it actually made an excellent point of that. Was they had the Picts and the Celts, I believe, that had a long-standing feud between them anyway. And the knights would wade into these lightly armored people and start swinging and killing hundreds of them. And it's not like any of these lightly armored dudes could do anything to a mobile battle fortress on a horse. And then
Yeah.
when another knight came riding along, well, the two knights generally didn't fight unless there was a challenge issue. One of them would just bugger off.
A little bit. Yeah.
I'm giving I'm giving my book report.
A little
It's
bit.
only 15 years later, but I did it, by God.
By the way, the funniest part is the whole chunk that involved book reports in this got fucked because of the technology fucking up.
God damn it, you're right.
Yep. Anyways, moral of that story?
The moral of the story is, if you believe that strength, that fighting can change the way the world works, especially if you're trying to get it away from the idea of fighting is the way the world works, you're going to wind up sending the poor little archer boy off to tell of victory at the end of the story. Seriously, if any of you've read the book, you get these references.
I need to read this book.
It's a good book.
What's the title again?
The Once and Future King.
Alright. So, guys, go on over to Amazon and pick this up on Kindle, or if you don't want to read it, go to audiobook.
Hey, Audible, I hear
Audible.com, there we go. By the way,
I hear
not sponsored.
you sponsor everybody. You want to sponsor us, buddy? Come on, we only said
Well,
fucking like 20 times in this one.
That's it. I said fuck 48 times! No. I know, 42 of them got cut off. Fuck. But no. There we go, driving the fucking number back up. Anyways, and no, the thing is, we can't actually be sponsored until we hit 2,000. Hey, Audible, when we hit 2,000, we're gonna start sending people your way. Share the love.
One of these days, I'm gonna check my bank account and $20 deposited from Audible.com. You're shitting me.
You think it's gonna be $20? You've got to understand, it's probably not even gonna be that much at first. You did one video that we liked. Okay, here's 10 cents.
In my case, if it was 20 cents, I would just kind of go, "You're shitting me."
Welcome to YouTube. You should see you should see the millions and millions of percentages of pennies I bring in.
Percentages of pennies. If Office Space taught us anything, it's you should round off those fractions and tuck them away in a bank account somewhere.
Yep. Anyways, folks, this is going to probably be the end of this particular chat, so until next time, this is Kit and Rick, and bye-bye.
Toodles for now.